and composure and a positive attitude. So first, let's just say, why did you give yourself low marks?
I think that in terms of approach this conflict, I think it leads into the trait of being hard on myself because I tend to be more passive when it comes to approaching conflict. And also, if it has something to do with me, or I have a feeling like it has something to do with me, like I let someone down, which is, again, another huge personality, I would say, weakness for myself. I never want to let anyone down, and I always want to do the best job possible. I never want to give people a reason to say that I did a bad job. So I think that in terms of approaching conflict, that's definitely something I need to work on in general. I think even like during this feedback session, it's not an approach to conflict. I mean, it's just a one-on-one feedback session. But even in something mild like that, where it's maybe you have to be the bearer of news someone doesn't want to hear or something like that. It's just not something I've been comfortable with, I guess, throughout my life. One of the biggest opportunity areas, quite frankly, that I know that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm. Now, we addressed the conflict. What about the positive attitude? Obviously, you and I have much more than a professional relationship. We're friends that have been friends for a while. And I can say specifically that there are times I feel like it's difficult to approach you, which is obviously completely out of characteristic. But so those that don't even have that sort of relationship, how do you feel they must feel when they try to approach you?
Yeah, certainly. I know that's one of the biggest things that, especially recently, I've tried to improve upon. I know that there's instances that I think I just allow myself to get stressed out way too easily. And whether it be things happening outside of work and bringing it in, I think I've done a lot better job of. And I always try to, make that divide as well too. I never want any of my personal issues to come into the office and affect my peers, and the other way around as well too. But it's a huge challenge. And I don't want to come off as a negative person because I think at my base, I am really a positive person. But I know there's situations where if I were to go out there and something were to happen, I could get stressed out very easily. And I could let that negatively affect my own personality. But the last thing I want to do is have other people feel negative as a result of that as well too. So I know that's a huge area of concern and opportunity really for myself.
Now, okay, so I think we both identified where growth needs to happen. What do you feel that, say, as soon as you walk out that door, you could do to begin down that path?
I think that thinking things through is something that I can apply to my job. Thinking critically, we've identified as something that is a strength, or maybe I think it's a weakness. Well, I mean, there's no reason why I can't use that toward a weakness like being positive or approaching conflict. I think that sometimes I allow something as quick as a flick of the light switch to affect my mood. There's just no reason that should ever happen. I think that if I were to take a few steps back, not think that it's the end of the world if something, off the cuff and really insignificant happens, thinking through it, calming myself down. Maybe if my temper starts to go up internally in the office because something's going wrong. There's been times where I've taken a 3-block lap around the office just to walk it off. If I could just do that every time, or just take a few deep breaths, I think I'd be fine. I mean, when I have employed that strategy, it's worked. Or if I need to collaborate with someone like you, or someone I have another beyond work relationship with, and just talk something out, I think that would be a very effective tool as well too to build on that.
Great. I mean, I think I totally agree. I mean, I know that you enjoy running, and that's a great stress reliever for you. So ideally, once you move into Uptown, maybe, like you said, you can go for those runs at lunch and be able to relieve stress like so many of us do.
Yeah.
I really hope for your sake that you can release some of this stress, because I know you can see physically how much it does, like, build up inside of you, and then all that can happen is release it. So I do hope that you are able to take those little moments and just see that it's not bad, that things are going accordingly.
Right.
I also think that just as a general rule, just to kind of close things up, being so hard on yourself only affects you. So you can see that everyone sees that you do great work. So moving forward and having the confidence that you are doing a great job might also relieve some of that stress, and thus make it easier to have that positive attitude that you are trying to work for.
Right. I think that's actually a really good point. I don't do a good job of temperature gauge. Seeing something like this is very encouraging, let me just say. And kind of staying within my own mentality and being a harsh critic of myself, I think that's a big source of stress as well too. I'm too much of a perfectionist. Anything that's less than 100%, even the slightest detail gets messed up. It makes me feel horrible. And having that mentality does not bode well for interactions with others. And so it's just a huge snowball effect. So just knowing this, immediately I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders right now. And that's great. And I like that feeling, and that certainly would bode well for, some of the opportunity points where maybe I'm less abrasive during situations where I'm tense. And maybe there's situations where I say, it's fine. Maybe it's not 100% perfect, but it's definitely fine. So I think that's a great learning point for sure.
Great. Well, I feel like you've identified everything accordingly, and now all you can do is move forward from today.
Sure.
Great.
Thanks.